Hello and welcome to this video which has been developed to support you and your son or daughter to make subject choices for when they commence in first year with us here in Presentation de la Salle College. My name is John Cullinan and I am one of the Deputy Principals here in Presentation de la Salle College, and thank you very much for accessing this video. Unfortunately, we are not in a position whereby we were able to meet with you in person. Typically, we would have arranged an information evening in the school and we would have made you aware of this information and been able to answer your questions in person. But given the current circumstances with regard to the school being closed, as regard of the public health situation with coronavirus, we have had to try and look at an alternative way to support you. And this is only part one of a number of measures we will be using to try and support you and your child over the next number of weeks. I will be giving you contact details for us at the end of this presentation, so please, if you do have questions, you will be able to contact us. Maybe make a note of them as you watch this video, and then you can contact us towards the end of it. The video will last for, it is intended, approximately 20 minutes or so. So, Presentation de la Salle College, and one of the things we want to start with is our mission statement, because you need to be aware, I suppose, of what it is we are trying to do in our school. And as a school, we aim to be a caring community dedicated to the development of the whole person in an atmosphere of mutual respect. And this mission statement informs how our curriculum and the subjects that we offer are structured, and that is something that you will see as we move through this particular video and as you see the structure of our curriculum. And it's very, very important that we place some time on making subject choices for students as they come into first year, because they have a significant factor, subject choices, in developing students and in giving them opportunities to contribute to our school community, which is something that we want for every single one of our students throughout their time in Presentation de la Salle. We are a CEST school, which is stands for Catholic Education and Irish Schools Trust. We are one of just over 100 schools in the country who are part of the CEST Trust. And CEST schools operate on 5 core principles: promoting spiritual and human development, achieving quality in teaching and learning, showing respect for every person, creating community, and being just and responsible. And you will see evidence of those values as we progress through the structure of our curriculum, whereby we provide a lot of choice for students, because we're aware that all students may have different preferences and different strengths, and by providing choice we try to meet those preferences and those strengths and give students the opportunity to excel in those areas. We also want students to be able to contribute to the school, and again, subject choice has an important bearing on that, because if students have a particular love for a subject or have particular interest in a subject, then it maybe provides them with an opportunity to contribute to the school and often to the wider community, as well as just the school community. And you will also see parts of our school curriculum, for example the wellbeing curriculum, which aims to promote spiritual and human development, as well as our religious education programme. So we feel that our curriculum very much represents the CEST values, and it's something that we want to make you aware of as well as you start this journey with us. The focus tonight is on junior cycle subjects, and while we might reference senior cycle in a couple of places just as information points, tonight is really about making decisions with regard to what subjects your son or daughter will study in their first 3 years, first, second and third year in school, which is what comprises junior cycle. And I suppose for those of you who attended our information evening back in October 2019, you will have seen how we tried to explain that junior cycle has changed significantly in the last 6 or 7 years in Ireland. There has been a national reform whereby all subjects have seen changes made to them. School curriculums have had to change. We've seen new things introduced. And this is something that not only is happening in Ireland, but it's also interesting to note it's happening in a lot of other countries too. I noticed that Wales and Scotland, 2 of our neighbours, will be undergoing similar changes. So there's a move to change, not just in Ireland, but internationally. And obviously this has an impact, doesn't it, here in Presentation de la Salle College as well. One of the things you'll see is that we have some subjects which we refer to as core subjects. And what that means is essentially they are compulsory for all students. All students will study those particular subjects, and we'll outline those subjects to you as we go through this presentation. All students must study this area called wellbeing, which is a new part of our curriculum, which is one of the most significant changes in junior cycle. And we will explain what wellbeing is and what is included in the wellbeing program of our school as we go through this particular presentation again. But it is important to say that wellbeing is compulsory. It's for all students as well. The subjects that your students or your son or daughter will be studying for examination will have classroom-based assessments, which are also quite new in the context of junior cycle. Typically, the classroom-based assessments take place in the second half of second year, and again then in the first part of third year. And we will refer to them a little bit more later as we go through it. They're not hugely important at this point in time, but we just want to make you aware of it, that as well as doing an exam or a practical in some subjects, there will be classroom-based assessments also. These don't count towards the state part of the assessment. So the State Examinations Commission, they assess in each subject, but they are assessed by the subject department, and they're very important because when you combine them with the state examination, you get 3 different pieces of information for each student. It gives you a very good indication of how that student has performed in the subject over the course of the 3 years in junior cycle. So for that particular purpose, they have quite a lot of purpose as well. And finally, subjects will still be assessed by the state examinations in third year. Some of the subjects your son or daughter will do won't be subject to a state examination, but they will be assessed in school. But we will highlight the ones that will be assessed by the state examinations as well. So this is the junior cycle curriculum, and it looks quite busy here at the minute, and there's quite a lot in it, so we just want to break it down a little bit. On the left hand side we have our core subjects, so these are compulsory for all students. We have Irish, we have English, we have maths, we have history, we have geography, and we have science. Each of these 6 subjects, the first 6 subjects here, will have a classroom based assessment in second year and a classroom based assessment in third year, which will be assessed by the subject department. The student will be given a grade for each of those classroom-based assessments. And they will also have an exam, which is worth 90%, graded by the State Exams Commission. And they will have an assessment task, which is worth 10%, graded by the State Exams Commission. So each of those subjects will have 2 CBAs and an assessment task and a final exam. In the case of Gaelic or Irish, both CBAs will take place in third year. Religious education is also a compulsory subject in our school. It is not a subject that we provide for examination, so students will not do an exam in religious education. They won't do classroom-based assessments. But what they will do is they will learn about other faith traditions, about the world that we live in. It provides an incredibly positive opportunity for personal development, social development, spiritual development, moral development, which is something that we value very highly in Presentation de la Salle as a Kesh school, but also as a school that's at the centre of our community. And we know that it is very, very important that students have an awareness and understanding of different traditions, different beliefs, because they will be living and working in communities in the future that will continue to be multicultural and will have people from all different parts of the world and all different faiths and traditions living in it. So it is important that our students have an understanding of that and appreciation of that, because it benefits them not just for their time in school, but also when they move beyond school and to the next stage in their lives as well. In terms of our optional subjects, we have 8 subjects that are optional, and students will choose 3 of these for study in first, second and third year. You'll see we have business studies, we have 2 languages, French and German. We have graphics. Now, graphics has been rebranded. It would traditionally have been known as technical graphics or technical drawing. It has been rebranded in recent times and is now known as graphics. We have home economics, we have music, we have visual art, which again is rebranded and was previously referred to as art, craft and design. And finally we have wood technology, and wood technology was previously referred to as woodwork and it will be most commonly known as woodwork. But again, it's a rebranding of that subject. It's important to explain that all of these core subjects, optional subjects, have been changed or reformed recently as part of that junior cycle reform I mentioned earlier on. So the curricula in all those areas had undergone some change. Some have been changed more than others, but it is essentially new curriculums that have been studied for each of those subjects by students who commence in this coming year. Our wellbeing programme is compulsory, so all students again engage with this. We have civic, social and political education, which is often referred to as CSPE. We have physical education, which is PE, and we have social, personal and health education, which is SPHE. All of these subjects are compulsory, these 3, in every school in the country. As a school, we've also developed a learning to learn programme which supports our students in first, second and third year in terms of how they learn, in terms of making the move from primary to post-primary school, in terms of accessing the different supports we have in the school, and we'll elaborate a little bit on that in a few moments. So that is essentially what our curriculum looks like at junior cycle. We have the core subjects, we have the optional subjects, which we will focus on quite a bit in a few moments, and we have the wellbeing program as well, which is compulsory for everybody as well. I just want to reiterate that you may have questions at this stage about different aspects. I will come to the contact details at the end, and you will be able to contact us then via those different methods, and we will obviously endeavour to respond to you as quickly as possible. So just a small bit of extra detail on the core subjects. First of all, Irish is a core subject, and some of you may have questions about exemptions. Now, suffice to say, at the moment, if your son or daughter has an exemption from Irish in primary school, you can contact us in due course, and what we will be asking you to do is to provide the paperwork from the primary school that confirms your son or daughter has had an exemption throughout their time in primary school. The exemptions and the procedures around exemptions has changed recently. Your primary school will be aware of that. And again, as I said, if you have any further queries or questions in relation to exemptions, you certainly can contact us. One thing we would say in relation to exemptions is that it is the Department of Education's policy that although a student may have an exemption from Irish, that they would still be given opportunities to experience the language of Irish because of its cultural importance. It is part of our heritage, it's part of our history, and certainly in Presentation De La Salle College, that is the policy that we follow, and we ensure that all students, even those who have exemptions from Irish, would experience some level of Irish, because again, it's important as it is part of the culture in which they live. We also have English and maths, which are core subjects. Again, these are subjects that students would have engaged with in primary school. History is also a core subject. And it's important to say that those 4 subjects that are currently on the screen, they are core subjects in every single school in the country. And that is a decision that has been made by the Department of Education. So all of those 4 subjects are compulsory in every single school in the country, starting from this coming academic year that will start in September or late August. Geography is also core in our school and compulsory. Part of the reason for this is that we live in a world where we are becoming more and more aware of our impact on the environment, global warming, climate action. We'd be all quite familiar with that from the media. And geography is a subject that is very, very effective at building students' understanding of those issues, at making them more aware of how we can mind our environment, protect our environment, and certainly it is something that's becoming more and more important with every passing year, and it's something that we feel is very, very important that all of our students would engage with throughout their time in junior cycle in Presentation De La Salle College. Science is a subject that's core compulsory. Again, the reasoning for this is 2 main reasons. First of all, it gives students a lot of options when they come to leaving cert level or senior cycle level, whereby we in our school offer physics, chemistry, biology, agricultural science, and even this year we're offering applied mathematics at leaving cert level. So again, there's potentially 5 subjects that students would have a very good foundation in, having studied science. But the second reason is also that moving beyond their time in secondary school, it gives students a lot of career options, as there are a lot of careers and jobs and professions that are underpinned by science and the knowledge and understanding of science. And certainly we feel it's very important that we give our students that grounding and that strong foundation from which they can launch potentially careers in the future as well. Religious education is obviously a core subject as well. As we mentioned earlier on, it is not an exam subject, but it is a very important subject in our school. It is very much part of our ethos, part of our mission statement, and as a KESH school, it allows us to ensure that the KESH values are provided for all students, particularly in relation to holistic development through developing personally, socially, morally, to I suppose, support the academic development that takes place throughout our school community as well. The wellbeing program contains these 4 areas. I've explained what they are already, so I'm not going to reiterate them too much. The Learning to Learn program is something that we're obviously reviewing on a regular basis. It's currently undergoing a review. and it will be developed further on the basis of feedback from current students in the school and also the current teachers who are teaching it. It is school developed. We're very, very proud of it, and it is something that we feel will support students throughout their 3 years in junior cycle. It aims to help students learn how to access the ICT infrastructure we have in the school, which is very, very significant. At the moment, all of our students are able to access their teachers and to learn remotely through homework tasks, through videos, through notes, through PowerPoint presentations and so on. So it's proving very effective at the minute, because obviously the school is closed, but we can still all work from our homes remotely. And the other areas are obviously very important in terms of personal health, physical health, becoming aware of issues in the locality, issues at national level in terms of social development. So these are very, very important. As I said earlier on, the wellbeing programme will account for 1/7 of a student's timetable during their time in junior cycle, which is a very significant amount of time. It's important to point out that the student will not be doing written exams in these subjects. There will be no state exam in any of these subjects, but there will be different assessments in the subject areas, including things like presentations, research projects, group projects, performances, different type of activities that they may be asked to do at different stages as well. So it is important to point out that they will still be assessed in the school throughout the wellbeing programme. And then we have our choice subjects. So we have business studies, we have French, we have German, we have graphics. Again, graphics is a rebranding of technical graphics. We have home economics, we have music, we have visual art, which is a rebranding of art, craft and design, and we have wood technology, which is a rebranding of woodwork, but is essentially the same subject. Now, it is important that when you're making the decision and you're choosing your 3 subjects, that you ensure that you read the accompanying booklet, which has also been texted to you. And this booklet has been developed by our career guidance department, but it has had an input from all of our various subject teachers, because sometimes we have a particular perception of a subject that may not be entirely accurate. For example, if we look at home economics, a student might think that home economics is all about cooking every day, that they go into home economics class, but that is not necessarily the case. There's quite a lot of theory in home economics. There's a lot of science in home economics. So again, it's important that students and yourselves as parents or guardians have as much information as possible in relation to the subjects that you're choosing, that you understand what is involved. And certainly, as I said, we will provide contact details for us at the end. If you have questions in relation to subjects, we are very happy to deal with them, and we will get our relevant subject teachers to maybe respond to them in due course as well, if needs be. But it is important to be aware of the subjects and to understand what each subject entails, because as I said, sometimes people have a particular perception of a subject which may not always be entirely accurate. And it is important to remember that students will be doing this subject for 3 years. They will be doing a classroom-based assessment in second year, a classroom-based assessment in third year, an assessment task in third year, and a final exam at the end of the 3 years in these subjects. So it's important that we are aware of the subject that we're undertaking. In relation to the languages, we obviously offer 2 languages, which are French and German, but we often get asked questions about languages and the requirements for having third languages or modern foreign languages for university requirements or for colleges of education or institutes of technology. So our guidance department have put together this particular graphic, which is quite helpful. So National Universities of Ireland require English, Irish and a third language. Trinity College and University of Limerick require English, Irish and another language. DCU, for example, maths and English or Irish. So in that case, for DCU, there is no third language required. All of the institutes of technology, maths and English or Irish. So again, Carlow IT, Waterford IT are probably our 2 closest here in Bagenalstown. Again, they would not require a third language. Colleges of Education, maths and English and Irish, H4 higher level. Again, just to be aware of that. And then finally, there are other, obviously, institutions that will also have their own requirements. The advice we give here is, first of all, to do your own little bit of research on those institutions if you think it's something that might be a possibility down the line. And you can check what the requirements are, or if you have any questions in relation to any of those institutions particularly, you can contact our guidance department as well, and we'll be flagging that at the end as well. I suppose essentially what we're saying then in relation to that is, and I'll highlight here in the middle, if you were considering going to any of the colleges of the National University of Ireland, which include UCD, which is in Dublin, UCC in Cork, NUI Galway, NUI Maynooth, or the RCSI, a third language should be among your chosen subjects. And we would recommend that because it is very difficult for a student to try and take up a new language in 5th year and to get to a level where they will do a leaving certificate in it over 2 years, whereby it's obviously far more preferable that if a student is going to do a language and will require a language for where they wish to go to university or to further education, then starting that in 1st year and building it up over their time in junior cycle gives them a far better foundation for when they do move into leaving cert level then. There are some other, I suppose, subjects that require for certain subjects, and often it comes down to science subjects. So if you're considering any of the following, again, a science subject is something that you should be considering. Now, at the moment, this won't really be a huge issue for you in junior cycle level because all students study science, and you could see one of the reasons we have science as a core subject here is because for the careers that are, and the courses that are outlined here, they all require at least one, and in some cases multiple, science subjects. So again, you see medicine in UCD, you see medicine in the Royal College of Surgeons, you see pharmacy in Trinity, you see dentistry in UCC, you see veterinary medicine. They all require different combinations of science subjects. And while it's not something that you need to worry about right now, because we've made science a core and compulsory subject, when you move into making your decision for what your subjects in 5th year are, then this certainly will guide you if this is one of the career options that you have a desire to follow. But again, as I said, it's just important to be aware of the language option is the one that you maybe need to consider right now. If you're considering going to any one of these particular areas, then certainly you need to be aware of the language option and the language requirements. But in terms of science one, we've already covered that for you because we've made science a core subject. There is additional information available for you. This booklet was also sent to you via the text that we sent out, which this video appeared in. And I would encourage you strongly to please access this video. You will notice that we have description of all subjects in there for you, and particularly the option subjects. It is so important, and I wish to reiterate this, that you view the option subjects, you read down through them, you understand exactly what each subject is about, because perceptions of subjects are sometimes incorrect and they might only be a small part of a subject, and it's important that your son or daughter has a good idea of what is expected in that particular subject area across the 3 years of junior cycle. So we would certainly encourage you and advise you very, very strongly to have a read of this, or get your and maybe read through it with your son or daughter as well. So we've made you aware of information. I also want to make you aware of how you're going to inform us of your decisions, because obviously the school is closed at the moment, so we will not be able to take subject choices in person, unfortunately, as the school is locked. So we've arranged for 2 ways that you can submit it to us. We have arranged an online form, and you'll see the address there. Now, this online form will be sent to you via text message as well. And it will be possible for you to submit your preferences via any device, phone, laptop, tablet. As long as it can connect to the internet, you'll be able to submit your child's subject choices via that form. And we would encourage you to do so. But we will also be making it available that you will be able to post your child's subject options to us. Please bear in mind, if you're posting them to us, it must include for the attention of 1st year options at the top. And that will highlight to us that it is options, and we'll be able to give them to the relevant person who's looking after options for us. Presentation to LSL College, Bagenalstown, County Carlow, and then we have the year code R21X096 down there as well. I would try and encourage you, as far as possible, to use the online method because it means that it's done, and I'm going to show you the online form here in a moment. But if you do wish to use the post option, that is absolutely fine as well. But please make a note of that particular address, as it needs to go exactly to that address as it is on screen there at the minute. We will be sending out subsequent texts in the next number of days, and we will also be making you reminding you of those methods of submitting your subject choices. I do want to show you what that form looks like. So when you click in that link that I've just sent you, if you click on it on a computer or a tablet, it will appear as this. And essentially all we ask you to do is insert your child's name. So student's name goes in here. What's the subject that their first preference is, and it's very important that you put their subjects in order of preference. So what's the subject, the option subject that they have first preference for, and type it into that box there. What is the second preference? And then it goes into the second box. What is the third preference? And it goes into the third preference subject. Now, we do ask for a fourth preference. And the reason we ask for fourth preference is just in the event that for some reason we cannot facilitate your son or daughter doing one of their first three preferences, we have a fourth preference on record. Generally speaking, we will be able to facilitate your first three preferences, but it is just in the event that there is some sort of an issue that we may require a fourth preference, we are asking all students and requesting all students to have submitted a fourth preference. It just provides us with that information in the event that there is any difficulty in assigning one of the three preferences to your son or daughter. And we finally then ask just that the parent or guardian just types in their name below, and then you just hit submit. And once you submit that, then it will be submitted to our database, and we will then look at assigning your son or daughter to the subjects that they have then identified their preference for. If you access on a mobile phone, it will just look similar, but will obviously just be on a smaller screen. So this gives you an idea of what it looks like on a mobile phone. Again, we have student's name goes in the first box, first preference subject, second preference subject, third preference subject. Just to reiterate, we are asking for a fourth preference subject purely because it will enable us to assign a subject in the event that one of the three subjects can't be got. Highly unlikely, but it's just there in the event that might be a case, and then we ask the parent or guardian to sign it at the end. So that is the form, and once you enter all the relevant information into those options and click submit, your options should then be submitted to us. In relation to if you're posting it to us, and this is very important, please on the piece of paper write your son or daughter's name. Student's name is important for us because we need to assign the options to them. Write down 4 subject options with each option identified in order of preference from 1 to 4. So please write subject number 1, subject number 2, subject number 3, subject number 4. We'd ask you to put your own name in block capitals, just so we are clear on who it is, and then you can include your signature on the bottom of the sheet of paper as well. And that can be then posted to first year options, Presentation De La Salle College, Bagenalstown, County Carlow, R21X096, and we would obviously look after it from there. We are suggesting that the deadline for subject choices be submitted to the school by Friday the 24th of April 2020. So that is the Friday after the schools are due to reopen for Easter. Again, that is an ongoing situation that is currently being monitored, but we would ask that you have your subject choices submitted either via the online form or via post by Friday the 24th of April 2020. We are asking that you don't visit the school. It is closed, so you will not be able to submit your choices through the school office. The school is closed and will remain closed until further notice. So choices must be submitted online or by post. Now, finally, in terms of contacting us, well, first of all, our website is PDLSBagenalstown.com, and again, there's sometimes quite useful information up there in relation to different subjects and so on. The best way to contact us at the minute is via email, and the email address to send it to is admin@pdlsbagenalstown.com. So that's admin@pdlsbagenalstown.com, and we will monitor that email address regularly, and we will respond to any queries that you may have. The phone number for the school is obviously there, but obviously if the school office is closed, there's nobody in the building, and therefore we're not taking calls at the minute because there's nobody in the office at the moment. We will inform you if that changes in due course, but at the moment we are following the advice of the Department of Health and the HSE and Department of Education and Skills and keeping the school closed. I want to thank you very much for taking the time to view this video. I know it's not far off of a half an hour now, but I hope that it has proved to be quite helpful in helping you understand how our school curriculum is structured and the options that your son or daughter have available to them and the choices that they will be making with regard to those choice subjects in the next number of weeks. I also want to thank you for choosing to send your son or daughter to Presentation De La Salle College. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to working with you and your son and daughter over the next number of years, and we will be in contact in due course with regard to further information Obviously, ideally, we would like to be able to do this in person, but unfortunately, given the current circumstances, we feel that the best way to do this is through using the technology and working digitally. But we will maintain regular contact with you via our text message service, via videos such as this, via our school website. We do also have Twitter accounts. We have Facebook pages, Instagram accounts. Again, they are updated very regularly as well with information, and hopefully we are able to use that to maintain contact with you. Thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves, look after yourself, and we will be in contact again very soon. Bye bye.